I like how that slap right there. You got me feeling real Horseshoes Jones, man. Yeah. It's so great nights in here. Midwest finesse now, let's be clear. Northern exposure, new frontier. Good rhymes, good times, and yes, it's good gear. We need some MVPs in here. Giannis and Yelich had some good years. No time faking it, we about making it. That glass ceiling stuff, yo, I'm all about breaking it. From a small town, but I got big dreams. Paper diet up now, get more greens. Where the good fiber, the flow gone cyber. Vamos los flamingos flock tighter. All we do is give that good try. Goes ahead and playlist on Spotify. Do da-da-da-da, do just like Shy. It's that 9-9 simple word, so fly.
What is up, Flock and friends? It's Rob Chappell with another edition of the 608 Soccer Show. With me, as always, Ethan Maurice. How you doing?
Happy to be here, Rob. It was a really intriguing game. It was a great win. We're so hot. Can't wait to chat about it.
If you're watching on the YouTubes, you can see that Ethan is in transit somewhere. You've safely pulled over to the side of the road. But tell us where you headed.
I'm hanging out at a truck stop. So I recently became a Packers owner due to some family heir. Anyway, I'm headed up to the Packers owners meeting today. Big deal. Have to cast my vote for something I don't really know. But I'm excited to get on up there. So I'm on the road, but I figured I'd pull over and chat Mingos just for a little while to make sure the flock is still up to date.
Yeah, we appreciate you doing that. Before we get into the game here, I just want to sort of acknowledge the elephant in the room that it's been a really rough week for Madison.
Yeah.
The police killed a guy very near to the stadium, just kind of a couple blocks away, and not that it matters, not that soccer matters really that much at all, but there's been a lot of grief, sadness, anger around Madison, and we don't want to pretend that's not there. And I asked Matt Glazer about it in the post game, if you heard that. And to his credit, he didn't try to stick to soccer. He kind of said, we talked about it. The guys were aware of it. The guys were affected, and we were just happy to put some smiles on faces, bring some joy to the city.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to be distracted for an hour and a half. A little bit heavy to have to go back to it once the distraction ended. But that's life. And It's not the sort of thing that you can pretend isn't happening, because that's how it continues to happen. So
yes, very well said. So watch Madison 365. We're covering the best we can over there. I've had a couple of interns do some really nice video packages from some of the protests, and it sounds like there's more happening. There's more information coming soon that we'll try to get to. All right, one other date I want you to circle. Don't do anything with this date yet, but on September 12th, the Mingos match against Sarasota Paradise is going to be Madison 365/608 Soccer Night at Bree Stevens Field. So what that means is we're going to have a special ticket link. And if you want to buy tickets through our link, then not only a bit of a discount, but also we get a cut. Madison 365 as the nonprofit gets a cut of that ticket sales. We're also going to be hosting the 50-50 raffle, and we'll have a table with some stuff. You can meet the celebrity hosts, etc. at that table. So, like I said, don't do anything yet. We're gonna get the link all squared away, and we'll get that out in the newsletter between now and over the next several weeks, so you can take part in that. And the last part of good news, bad news is we're hearing that Derek Gebhardt, Matt mentioned this in the post game, but also just hearing through the grapevine a little bit that he hopes to be back like late August.
Yeah.
So he did get tattooed pretty good. It sounds like it was an abductor that ended up being really injured, which is a hip thing, which is a persistent, difficult injury to get rid of.
Yeah.
So because of the depth of this squad and how it's doing, how they're playing right now, there's no hurry to get him back. We want him back. Everybody wants Derek back, but it's not like Joshua Boma can't hold up that spot, until that. So another month or so, we'll hope to see get back for the playoff run.
Yeah. Yep. Great of Matt to confirm that too. You have not seen the last of that guy.
No, for sure. All right, so let's talk about this game. It was an interesting game. It was, one thing that seems to have been a pattern these last few weeks is that our guys are in really good shape and really able to finish games strongly. Like we're really, really good after the 75th minute.
Yeah,
which is really valuable when you're playing close, scrappy games like this one.
Yeah, and which is not what we saw last year. So it's a refreshing change. Yeah.
Right.
I think Ryan Carmichael covered 6 miles, I bet. Boma was everywhere. AJ Edwards was everywhere in his little cameo. Like, you can't even call it a cameo because he played 30 minutes almost.
Yeah.
But and all of this comes having to save guys for a Wednesday game. So it was really a big effort from the legs of every single person on the team.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned that there was some rotation. Mark Segbergs played midfield along with Jackson Castro, saving Roman Torres. Torres came on late, but again, that was like fewer minutes to save him for Wednesday. Hakim Karamoko got his first start in the league. Cladel Ngubu's still coming back. Cladel got it back in the game. He's coming back from injury, so they're still working him back in, which I think is one of the reasons. And Steven Arjamfi, I'm assuming they're just saving him for Wednesday also.
Yep, I think that's the case.
He was on the bench also. Didn't get in the game, which is fine. Like save him for Wednesday. And then Ryan Carmichael up top, and then Joshua Boma in that sort of number 10 Derek Gephardt role. For Naples, I didn't realize this, but Andres Farin and Christopher Garcia have both been injured. Christopher Garcia is their leading. He's our former guy, who's their leading scorer with 4 goals, and he's been out. So they did not come with their full firepower. Yeah,
and it seems like for a while there, Garcia was their best player, and his absence has kind of coincided with their loss in form. So, too bad for them. But we move.
I think one of the fun parts about the Golasso games. This is on Golasso Network.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do you get the field level cameras, but you get which are fantastic. But you get the two commentators. So it was Mark Schoenster and Ross Davenport. Ross Davenport's been on this show before a couple of times, and I think he listened to our last episode because he. I don't know if you heard this in his pregame. They sort of named Kafala Touré as the kind of player to watch, and he mentioned that he took some time to catch up to the speed of the pro game, which is something he literally said to us in our interview, and that his brother's a 6'7" hockey prospect, which there's no reason for us Davenport to know that if he hadn't listened to our show. So, hey Ross, nice to hear from you.
Yeah, you love to hear that. It's so funny because chatting with him after the game, you can just kind of tell, now that I know, you can just kind of tell he used to be a hockey guy. The way he moves his hips, the way he body checks everyone.
Yeah, for sure. He got a little bit unlucky in the second half. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But he ended up actually, he played well, but he ended up with the lowest FOTMOD rating, I think, just because he conceded a penalty. We'll get to it. But it was the right call, but it was unlucky. It wasn't intentional. One more thing to mention pregame is that I saw 3 people in Portland Hearts of Pine jerseys.
Yeah.
And they didn't know each other. Like there was like a couple walking along both with Portland jerseys, and they saw another person with a Portland jersey, and they were like, "Oh, hey, go Hearts!" And they gave a little fist bump, and and it took me. I had to remember, like, wait, who are we playing today?
Right.
Are we playing Portland today? Why are you here? What are you doing?
Yeah, that is pretty random. I guess they're a big team, man. They're everywhere.
I guess. I mean, it's one thing there's debate over whether you should wear a neutral jersey to a game, like you wore your Fort Madison jersey to the Algeria versus the Argentina game, and a bunch of my wife's family came up here when the Packers played the Chargers. No, not even the Chargers. It was the Packers playing the Seahawks, and all these dudes wore their Chargers jerseys from San Diego. So, there's a debate over whether that's ever appropriate.
Yeah,
but it's also you don't see it in League One,
right? Yeah,
it's just very odd.
It's a polar bear in
Um,
Arlington, Texas. What are you doing here?
but anyway, welcome, Portland Hearts of Pine fans. You are always welcome. We're just very curious.
Yeah.
What are your impressions of this game overall?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm heading up to Lambeau Field today. But I did give the game a quick rewatch, and I've always been of the opinion that soccer looks a lot like football. You know, it's an 11 guy game.
Yeah.
It's a horizontal goal, but this game especially struck me as a football match. There was a lot of long balls. It felt like a lot of long passes from both teams. It felt like there was a lot of one-on-one between a Mingo center back and a Naples wide receiver, if you will. And I think we won a lot of those duels. And I also think it was a really significant portion of the match, the pass rush, if you will, the pressing of the forwards, closing down the long passers. You know what I mean?
Yes. Your observation is borne out by the stats. I actually wrote this down. Madison was 21 for 55 on long balls.
Okay.
And Naples wasn't much. Naples actually attempted more. They attempted like 58, I think, and made roughly the same percentage. So you're 100% right. But also, Madison won 73% of the aerial duels. So we were much better in the air on the end of those long balls than Naples was. So yeah, you're right. It was kind of end to end, wasn't it? It wasn't a lot of methodical build up to the midfield. There was some of that sort of lateral and backwards passing, but once we were going forward, we were going all the way forward. Mm-hmm. And so was Naples.
Yeah. And every single Mingo's goal was from a dead ball and then less than 5 touches, and the ball was in the net. Obviously, the third one, one touch straight into the net. That was great.
There was definitely less than 5.
but the first two both were, I think it was a goal kick, duel, touch, like a goal kick, duel, assist, receive, goal. And then the second one was a throw in, receive, pass, goal. So small touches, and it was really kind of like a lightning and thunder game, you know, quick and tough and big.
Yep, it was. I will say Naples were, despite their troubles recently, they were much better and more prepared to play than Richmond were.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Like it was a rough one. And Ryan Carmichael in the post game was like, you know, if this game happened in that 92-degree heat, that would have been really, really rough.
Yeah.
But you know, I think Naples will be all right the way if they keep playing this way. They were very disruptive defensively. Their backline was very disciplined. They didn't allow us really anything in the final third in the first half very much at all. But on the other end, Naples was not clinical at all in the final third. They looked sort of like Madison-ish from like Madison last year. They had 20. They took 20 shots, only put 4 on target, and 10 of them were blocked, meaning they were taking big swings right into traffic. They just weren't at all clinical. And the 3 saves that JT Harms made were not difficult saves. Like they were shots right at him.
Yeah.
But on the other end, on our end, we just couldn't get into the box. Like they were just really, they were snuffing out the last pass in. They were cutting them off and were playing really well defensively. You know, the other thing that I noticed that is not tactical at all, but it's just kind of like conditioning, it's heart, it's desires. Our defensive recovery time was like we did not allow them anything in transition.
Yeah.
And as soon as you looked like they were having a counter, you know, you had Colin McCamey flying back, and Kevin Carmichael, Jalen Shannon toward the end of the game were really fast and aggressive in recovery to snuff out those transition opportunities, which was nice. And Naples is not real pacey without Christopher Garcia.
Yeah.
You know, they're somewhat hindered in that transition, but still it was nice to see. JT Harms had a rough night in distribution. I think I counted 4 times when he just kicked the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Which is
Before
uncharacteristic.
the head injury.
Yes, got to make that clear. Before he had his stitches next to his eye.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you're right. And luckily that was matched by Delgado from the other team also being pretty poor offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good game if you're complaining that our goalkeeper wasn't very offensive today. But it's something that comes along with the territory, I think, in this
Sure.
league.
And Lolo Delgado is not the goalkeeper he used to be.
Yeah.
When he was with Northern Colorado in those earlier years, he was really, really solid. He's definitely lost a quarter of a second in his reaction time, I think. Which we'll take it. Madison did get on the front foot pretty early. This one thing I'd really like to see was I want to say this about the 10th minute or so, maybe a little bit earlier, but Kevin Carmichael got it at the center stripe and just carried it forward, and which is not something our center backs would typically do in the past. Right, we'd look for a pass, we'd look for a lateral pass or something, or a switch, but he just carried it forward and he kind of waited. He held the ball and waited until the defender stepped up to him, which allowed Joshua Bowman to then make a run in. The commentator said it was Hakim Karamoko, but it wasn't. It was Joshua Bowman.
Gotcha.
Which, when you look at it from the back of their heads, they have the same kind of hair shape, and on the cow kits you can't see the numbers. So, we'll forgive Mark Schoenster for thinking that was Hakim Karamoko. But he once the defender stepped up to Kevin Carmichael, he was able to slide it through to Boma and maybe let it run just a tiny bit too far, and kind of cut his own angle. But man, that shot off the post, just brutal. Yeah,
that was the best chance of the game up to that point.
Yep, for sure. What do you think about Hakim Karamoko getting the penalty here? It was like the 15th minute or so. Hakim carrying the ball into the box. Guy stepped in front of him, between him and the ball. His foot hit the guy. He fell down. I don't know. Penalty, do you think?
Yeah, so live, I didn't think that, but that's not what the ref heard. Watching it back on ESPN Plus, or actually this was on Golazo, my mistake.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, if you re-referee anything with slow-mo, of course, you're going to get a different call. But I didn't feel too aggrieved about not getting it.
No, nobody shouted too much about it, but it is when you look at especially, they had a camera at that end line, so you get a really close-up look at it, and I think I think if that's anywhere else on the field, it's a foul. Which we should mention, this referee was calling things really tight.
Yeah, and our initial reaction after the game was, wow, that ref was bad, but he was bad both ways. So, like, does that even out? I mean, I guess not really, but like you'd rather have that than a bunch of missed handballs, blown calls, whatever.
Right. He was just calling everything so tight that it kind of made the whole game a little bit disjointed. Like he just wasn't letting play flow at all. Every little touch he was calling, except for that one in the box that would have been a penalty for us.
Yeah, that's all right. It's fine. I don't really love penalties either way, so good for us to earn our goals in the field.
Yeah, good call. Excellent call. And speaking of that, though, Hakim did get the first one. As you mentioned, it was a goal kick. It was a Naples goal kick, actually, that went all the way down the field, and then Carvalho Touré won it in the air. And it got down to Kinyane, and he was under some pressure, and he just kind of flicked it with the outside of his boot forward, kind of like, hopefully,
Yeah. Yep.
And Karamoko got it down over, like kind of over his shoulder, and headed it forward a little bit, and just a wrestling match with Tristan Rose, the Naples defender that he was up against, and just brute strength, right?
Yeah. And finesse as well to get it past the keeper and get the shape of your body right for that.
That's the thing. It was pure strength to get between Tristan Rose and the ball and let the ball fall and keep the defender off you and stay upright in enough of a position to get a foot on it. But then the skill with the left foot to, while you're being tackled by a defender and literally falling to your back, to get enough of to get a sweet enough touch on it to sneak it past Delgado, because it wasn't a super powerful shot. It was but it was placed perfectly.
Yeah,
under that much duress. Really, really impressive goal from him.
Yeah, a goal fitting of the game. We needed a big effort to break the deadlock. Naples was playing well at that point, so Yeah, well deserved, I think.
Yeah, as I was saying, that was in the 28th minute or something, I think, and then so not a hell of a lot else happened in the first half, and the first 8 or 9 minutes of the second half were we were definitely absorbing pressure.
Yeah. Before we move on, I will mention it was interesting to watch Castro replace Torres in the midfield. Other than the fact that they look pretty different, you wouldn't have noticed. Like Castro was everywhere. The
It was
pressing
great.
was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
He has a long pass on him that can just go, and sometimes it's a cross, and it's not necessarily like a cross into the box for a goal chance, but just to switch the field and send it somewhere completely different. Wow. I think it's too bad Roman Torres is a top midfielder in this league, because if he wasn't, we'd be talking about Castro every week.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And he's got some pace on him too. Going back to the Bulma chance that went off the post, folks remember I remember this because it happened like right in front of me where I was sitting. That Jackson Castro actually ran that ball down and slid around it to keep it in play and to
Yes.
recycle the chance. Nothing came of it, but like that kind of hustle and that kind of speed and that kind of understanding that like I know I can get to that ball and I'm going to.
Yeah.
But you're right. He's got the switch, he's got the cross, and he's got the line breaking kind of pass that are all in his arsenal, which is man, what a luxury to have both of those guys, Torres and Castro.
Yeah, watching him go against Aiden Macias felt really good. Like,
yeah. I mean, Macias played well. I mean, he was probably their brightest spot in the midfield. And Castro handled him
absolutely
pretty well. So in the those first 8 to 10 minutes or so in the second half, Naples came out ready to go. I mean, they were looking to level. Our backline remained solid, and Naples just didn't, like I said, just didn't have the finishing. Karamoko almost got a brace 10 minutes into the second half. Strong counter press is what our pressing wasn't quite as aggressive as we saw against Richmond. I think Naples was more prepared to deal with it probably, but in this instance, we lost possession, really solid, really fast, immediate counter press. Colin McCann got it back, got over to Kenyane, and then he just made eye contact with Karamoko at the top of the box, and Karamoko goes flying to the far post, perfect cross in. And headed it, and it just went just wide. He was trying to get it on the near post rather than put it back across, which is probably smart. It's probably the simpler way to do it. But as Ross Davenport said on the commentary, like, it would have been easier to score that than put it wide. Like, if you're trying to put that wide, you wouldn't be able to. But it was just so perfect.
Yeah.
But it was still nice to see Hakim like really on top of things and going for it. And then Joshua Bulma with the goal to put us up 2, which was really the sort of the sigh of relief. Again, this is like the 73rd minute, so it's getting late by this time, and I was feeling like, man, I hate these late 1-goal leads. Can we get one more?
Yes, absolutely, and we've seen that at Breeze so many times. And on late July days where it gets tired and all of our 32-year-olds are slowing down a little bit, and one lapse in concentration and you concede, and then all of a sudden you lose 2 points.
Yep.
This is not that team anymore. It's nice to have a team full of 25-year-olds.
So nice. But as you mentioned, this was a throw in. The ball. Also, we should mention the ball goes out for a throw, and then Naples made a sub. So there was a break. Right? There was like a minute or so where nothing was happening. Eddie Manjoma had the ball to throw it in, but then once they had made a sub and the ref said to continue, he handed it to AJ Edwards, and we've seen his long throws down into the box. Like he when he's throwing down there, it's almost like a corner kick.
Yeah.
Right. But we haven't seen this where he can just progress the ball 50 yards. From our own end, but our guys know that. So as soon as AJ got the ball, Joshua Bulma and Ryan Carmichael just took off running.
Yep.
And brilliantly, AJ Edwards found got it to Carmichael, and it just seemed like Naples wasn't ready for it. Like they were all still really high, even though they had like a minute to get organized. They were still really high, and Joshua Bowman was all by himself in the box once Ryan Carmichael got the ball and got his end line and cut it back to him. But the finish was super scrappy, right? Like he into Lalo Delgado spills it, and he's like on his backside, swiping his leg at it, get it in, and scored from there. What's wild is Bulma's first touch on that ball, which Delgado saved, was our only shot on target that wasn't a goal all night. We had 3 goals and 4 shots on target, and that was the one shot on target that didn't score.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be a pretty high XG shot at that point.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. The Five Bob says we had 2 big chances and scored both of them, which is it must be the first 2 goals. I think must be what they consider big chances. Which is great. We get the big chances, you got to convert them, and in that instance we did. And Joshua Bowman just both of the Karamoko goal and the Bowman goal are just pure desire.
Yeah,
pure heart, pure like I am not. I'm scoring this whether you like it or not. Like that's and Lalo Delgado was very, very mad about it,
as he should have been. He didn't play very well. Too bad for him.
He really ought to have been able to wrap that ball up, but didn't, and we will take it. And I felt that was like I said, it was like the 73rd minute, so I was feeling all of a sudden, I was like, relax. Like, we're not going to... And then, of course, we give one back. Aiden Macias scoring on a penalty. It was actually Omar Sis, who, one of those sort of long-time League One guys that is always a pain in our side. He made a nice turn inside the box to get a shot off, and it was blocked by Carvalho Torre, as we mentioned, and even the commentator guys thought it was off his head. And the ref initially signaled for corner, and then must have heard from the linesman that I think that was a handball. Which, no shade there. That's good refereeing if you're able to confer. But and looking back on, and Carvalho was holding his hands in, no, my hands were in my chest, and they weren't. If you look at it, I mean, it was inside the frame of his body, but definitely away from his chest. And again, he's fallen down, and his arm's in a relatively natural position, but still away from his body. It altered the trajectory of the ball. Totally unintentional, totally unlucky, but definitely a handball. And I mean, you can't really argue that. And I really like the way Aiden Macias took this penalty. I love it when it's just straightforward and doesn't overpower it, doesn't try to be cheeky, doesn't try to overthink it. Just takes a nice slow walk up and nice and easy passes it to the left. JT Harms dove to the right, and it's 2-1. And Macias did not celebrate.
Yeah, good boy. Watching it back on Golazo, it was really funny to see just everybody, all of the 10 field players doing a job trying to stop this penalty as well. Edwards was right there, whispering sweet nothings to Macias, trying to ask him, what his favorite color is, or if he misses Madison, what his favorite restaurant was. Torres was standing in between the spot and the keeper as if Macias couldn't see the goal or whatever. And the ref was getting him out of there, move on. And it really was like herding cows, because he looks and he's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. And he takes 2 steps.
Here. I don't know what yeah.
Looks around, chews some grass, keeps moving. Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. Especially in this shirt. They're just not going anywhere. They need a border collie out there to wrap these guys up and get them on some defense. Yeah. But anyway, yes. And that's one of my favorite parts about League One is all the mind games, all the personality aspects of it. Because when you get up to the English Premier League, everybody's too cool and will stand on the line and it'll be like a tense moment. No, dude, I want somebody in there biting his ear and telling him what's up. Yeah, it was great. I love it.
And there was a Naples guy actually wrapped his arms around AJ Edwards and tried to carry him away. He's like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah, I have a right to be here. No, you don't.
Yeah, no, you don't actually right now, but okay. So that was the 81st, I think, or 82nd minute. So it's going to be rough. And then I think it was shortly, was it before or after that Harms got his head kicked?
I think it must have been after, because that would have been a whole thing if he saved a penalty with bleeding out of his eye. So no, I'm very confident that it was after.
Yeah, and that him being tended to, I don't think it was ever a concussion thing, but he was cut on his eye, And so
Yeah.
they had to patch that up, and because of that, we ended up with 9 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah. Watching that back in super slow-mo, it must have been a teammate foot that caused that injury, because I don't think Cease got him with his boot. But yeah.
No, I think it was he was just going out for the ball. There's all bodies coming together, and it was a bingo falling right on top of his head. I think that must have caused that. No foul, no malicious intent. It was just three guys fighting for the ball, and JT Harms got the worst of it. But it sounds like he'll be fine. Now we did get the sigh of relief goal again. And again, this was one of those fewer than 5 touches. It was a single touch. It was JT Harms' goal kick, and it was headed on by Claudel Ngubu, who came on as a substitute.
Yep.
And then Ryan Carmichael picked it up, carried it across the box. And then Joshua Yoder, it wasn't a real egregious foul. Definitely was a foul. He reached over his shoulder, pulls him back, disrupted his rhythm forward. The referee took a second to see if advantage would develop, and then called it back.
Yep.
And Ryan told us after the match that he's been practicing free kicks all week.
Yep.
So he's like, I'm taking this, and it paid off.
You love to hear it. You love to hear it. And 2 minutes before, he had made exactly the same run and kind of was, I don't think he was fishing for a foul, but like lost the ball, didn't get a shot off, nothing came of it. So good for him to do the same thing and take a different option, because it brought us a goal. Yeah. He's really come a long way.
Well, yeah. And that the strike, it didn't, on the field, it didn't look like it was a blistering rocket or anything like that. I was genuinely surprised to see it go in. But watching it on the replay, on the video, he got it up and right between the heads of 2 guys, like right over the shoulders of the 2 guys in the middle of the wall.
Yep.
And curled it and bent a little bit away from Delgado into the upper corner where Delgado's never going to get it. So just really, really perfectly done.
Yeah.
And
great goal.
Yeah, and that took care of it. Naples did have one more chance to try to get one, but JT Harms snuffed it out, and that was that.
Yeah, you mentioned they had 20 shots and about 10 of them were blocked. About half of those must have came in the last 5 minutes, because it seemed like Naples was just slamming it in and not getting anywhere.
I think you're right. I think, yep. A few stats to throw out there. 75% passing accuracy, which is not great. We'd like to see that a little bit higher. But again, Naples was very good defensively and cutting off passing lanes. 60% of our passes were in our own half, which is fine. Naples was basically the same thing. We only had 41% of the ball, which is also fine. If we're playing the long balls, we're playing the fast progression, the transitions. That's fine. Mentioned we had 9 shots total, 4 of them on target. 7 of our 9 shots came from inside the box, which is pretty good. Especially considering how difficult the time we were having to get in the box. We only had 17 touches in their box, and 7 of those were shots.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. We only attempted 12 crosses, which is interesting and good, I think. Connected on 6 of them. But again, we were very direct. We were much more up the middle than the outside in. As I mentioned, we won 73% of the aerial duels, which is great. Our friend on Blue Sky on social media, Shadow Wolf, is the host of the Fallen Leaves podcast. Someone asked if he was one of those people in a Portland Hearts of Pine jersey. I don't think he was, but he's a Portland supporter from Germany, and he's sort of wondering out loud on social media: do we think Matt Glazer is an underrated head coach or just not very good at scouting talent? Because one of the factors in this season's is that we had a sporting director. The sporting director put together the roster in consultation with the head coach. So when Matt Glazer is just the head coach, we're doing better. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I don't think it's Glazer bad. I just think it's Carnes good. All these guys seem like impressive gets. I remember getting a chance to talk to him kind of in passing. He mentioned something that Roman Torres had said, "Oh yeah, some guys from Omaha reached out to me and they're like, we didn't know you were going to come to League One. We would have signed you." Well, forget that. He wants to come to a serious winning team.
Yeah.
So, Torres is absolutely not the only one. Castro seems like a good get. Kafala Toure seems like a diamond in the rough. Who's going to sign a hockey player? Um,
Right.
Kanyane seems good. Ryan Carmichael, where do you find these guys? So I think that connection was a giant part of what's missing last year. But to answer your question a little bit more directly, I also think Glazer knows how to put together a system that makes it work for these guys because the last 2 years we had talking about, oh, Glazer ball just involves passing around the back, a lot of horizontal stuff, a lot of crosses into big guys that didn't really come off. He's completely redesigned the team for even bigger, even stronger guys. And it's not just cross around the side, cross around the side. It's so much more vertical. It's heavy metal football, if you will. I'm not saying he's Jurgen Klopp or anything, but he's put together a system to make the most out of these guys. I really do feel like a lot of these guys benefit from the system. With McCammy's role being, well, you're not Roman Torres and you're not Castro, but you're too good not to play. So sure, play third defender. That's great. Having Carmichael and Hakim and Bulma all be able to rotate around those 3 spots, you'd say Gebhardt can do that too.
Yep.
It's really impressive to use these guys to the best of their abilities. So I don't really have an answer for Shadow Wolf because I think signing Carnes freed up Glazer to do what Glazer does best, which is draw the patterns.
Yep, which is to manage the matches and to put the best 11 on the field. I think I agree with you 100%. I think Matt Cairns probably just has a different, I don't know if it's a bigger, but different network of people. Like, there's no way anybody but Matt Cairns would have found Kafala Toure in Florida Atlantic. You know,
Right.
like just like you said, diamond in the rough. Like who is even looking at that guy?
Yeah.
And he's turned out to be great. But the other factor, of course, is that in previous seasons, and we can't say Matt Glazer was bad at this because we put together a terrific roster in 2024.
Yep.
Which with a little bit of luck and stuff, ended up with third in the league, which is great. But also, you're asking a guy to you're negotiating a contract with the guy to say, like, we can pay you 15% less than what you want, but I want you to run 100% for me. That's just an awkward. Not that anybody wouldn't. Not that anybody's going to run less because they're paid less, but it's just an awkward position for to negotiate a contract one day and then oversee training the next day.
Yeah.
It's just a weird situation, and it's a whole other set of stuff that Matt has to think about all the time within his own network of people that he knows. So I think. Again, I agree with you. I don't think it was that Matt Glazer was bad at it, but I do think he's a terrific manager of the game. The other thing is, even when we've had bad years in his first year here and last year, I have not heard any indication that he's lost the locker room.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Not only is he a good manager of the match and of the talent he has, and like you said, he's transformed the way they play to fit the talent that Matt Cairns brought him, which is pretty impressive. But also, the guys are there for him, and he's created an environment where the guys are together and they're having a good time, and there's a lot of joy and a lot of fun in the way they play, and that's not always the case everywhere. That's what kind of has gone wrong in Naples, apparently. That Matt Poland, even last year when they were being successful, he kind of lost the locker room a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think Matt Glazer is terrific, and I think the addition of Matt Cairns, more than anything, has brought this whole new kind of talent, but also has freed up Matt Glazer to do what he's really good at, and not have to do things that he's maybe doesn't want to do or isn't as good at, or just doesn't have interest in doing.
Right.
So it's that just hiring that sporting director, it looks right now to be just a very brilliant move by the front office, which I'm sure they had to sacrifice some things to do that. But they not only did they hire one, but they seem to have hired the right one. So good on them.
Yeah, and it does seem like too every single player is signed for this year and next year, which means worst case scenario, we win the championship, and then all these other teams pluck great guys off our team. At least we're going to be making a bunch of money back in transfer fees, which is also something. I mean, they're never going to actually come out and say that to us, but from where we are, we can tell that we haven't been making transfer fees. So I'm excited for that to change.
Not very often. We have sold a couple of guys, but not very many. But that is definitely much more of a intentional thing for us now. Not only developing the academy for part of that purpose, but also signing guys with an option that if a guy's fantastically successful and we don't feel like we can hold him here, we'll get something out of it, so that we can then reinvest and more. So, and I think one thing we'll talk about maybe later in the season is who do we think the candidates are to get sold? That to actually get that good transfer fee, either to championship or to the lower league in Europe or whatever. Because you're starting to see that now. You're starting to see USL teams sell guys to Europe for significant fees, which is great.
Yeah, there's definitely more than one on the team. But
I can think of a few that are definitely candidates for that, and there are other few guys who I think could happen, but I don't want it to because I want them back. So let's look ahead a minute. We're playing Chattanooga on Wednesday. Chattanooga Red Wolves kind of quietly snuck into the playoff picture. This is going to be a tough match.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm really worried. And to be fair, I was also really worried about Naples just because it feels like at this point of the season, we have to win every game. But at the top of the table, there's 3 teams who are 1 point below 2 points per game. So if you take your games played and double it, they're 1 point below. Forward Madison, you'll notice, is also one of those teams. We're out of the title race right now because of our games played. But there is one other team in the league that has that status, 1 point below 2 points per game. It's Chattanooga. They recently beat Omaha, I think. I think they also beat Knoxville.
They just beat Knoxville, yep.
They were runners-up last year in the league.
Yeah.
And I think they fell apart in the second round of the playoffs. But the strong team, I think they have their striker is 1 goal off most goals in the league. I think that's Omar Hernandez. So a lot to look out for. I'm quite nervous, I hate to say.
Yeah, they are. If you look at points per game, we're in. Well, Union Omaha, Knoxville, and Charlotte are all tied on 1.94 points per game, and we're at 1.93. So we're basically tied with those in the top 4. Chattanooga's right behind us at 1.79. So, and they're in good form right now. It's not even the whole season. It's just right now. They've won 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5. Will definitely not be an easy one. And then on Saturday, we host Westchester, which again, that's a team we should absolutely beat on paper. They're well down the table. They're at 1 point. They're basically 1 point per game right now. And not looking particularly threatening. They did get a win over the weekend, but we absolutely should handle that. However, it's the 3rd game in 8 days, which no matter who you're playing, that's just a disadvantage.
Yeah. You'd assume that Torres starts on Wednesday, so I wonder if we see a guy like Anwar Giamfi come in for those last 2 games of the week. I wonder if we see a guy like Joe Hildahl at the end of the week to come in and maybe scoop some minutes up on Wednesday or scoop some minutes up on Saturday. That could be exciting. But it's, in Glazer we trust. He knows how to manage the minutes. There's a reason a couple of these guys didn't play in the most recent game. It's so that we can save them for this upcoming game.
Yeah. So again, tough match on Wednesday and a tough match on Saturday for a different reason. Really. But let's all turn out. Let's give them some energy and try to push them through. If we can manage to win these 2 and run our unbeaten streak that would make it 9 and across all competitions. I think Matt Glazer's shoe in for coach of the month for July. No question about it.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back right after this. And joining us now, also from his car, I don't know if he's going to the same place Ethan was, but Hakim Karamoko, how you doing, sir?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for the time. I have to tell you, I'm very grateful to you because you have very graciously sat with me through various scheduling issues and technical difficulties, and here we are. We're doing it. It's working. So thank you so much. And thank you for showing up in Madison and scoring a few goals for us. That's been fun.
Yeah. Definitely.
So we just want to kind of introduce you to our listeners here and kind of your story a little bit. So let's kind of start at the beginning. You're from New York, right?
Yeah, I'm from New York. Yeah.
Like born and raised.
Yeah, born but not raised. Sort of raised in New York. So the story is basically, born in New York. When I was 3 years old, I went to the Ivory Coast for 10 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I came back in 2019. So, yeah.
When did soccer become part of the show?
It definitely started back in Ivory Coast because I don't remember much from my time in the States. And I definitely picked up soccer back in the Ivory Coast for sure.
So as we know, having just watched the World Cup, Ivory Coast obviously a big footballing nation. So was your family a football family or athletic family, or is it just all around you?
Yeah, definitely a football family, athletic family as well. So yeah, you gotta pick up, from the roots, and that's what I'm doing.
All right. So then so you picked up there. You come back to New York as a teenager.
Yes.
And at what point did it become clear that like, okay, this is something I could actually do like for my job?
I think it's always been that.
Always been that for you?
Yeah, just growing up in Africa, especially around where I grew up, many people don't get the chance I got, and just using that opportunity to kind of, go after my dreams, and that's kind of what I did, and yeah.
That's great. And so then NC State for a couple years. And then you get drafted by DC United, right? Now you talked last time we talked to you, I think in one of the post games, you kind of alluded to some adversity in your pro career in the past couple. Do you want to talk? Can you talk a little bit about that? What you overcome?
I'd say obviously I didn't really deal with much injuries throughout my youth until I got to college. And after my freshman year of college, I had a surgery done, sports hernia.
Oh gosh.
So thankfully it was the end of the season and I got the surgery right after. And I got time to recover during this break, during Christmas break. And I came back for the spring season healthy. And that kind of got me going again. And had a great spring season, couple trials with MLS clubs. And that kind of also helped me going into my sophomore year and with the new coach as well. So that was fun, going under a new coach. That wasn't easy, but obviously the adjustment, had to be made, and I did that. And then coming sophomore year, had my breakout season and went to the combine, also injured, and I pushed through it. And when I got drafted, I kind of did a bit of rehab for that, and I was feeling fine.
Good.
And eventually, obviously, got drafted by DC. Went there for preseason. First session, I kind of felt the same injury again, and I had to get surgery again.
Gosh.
So obviously not how you want to start your rookie year.
Right.
Of course. And I got through that. It was very difficult for me. Obviously, first of all, you want to show yourself what you're capable of. You want to show your abilities. And I couldn't do that during preseason. And that's the time where, you show your qualities, and especially being in a new team, trying to find that bond in your place on the team is all it takes part during preseason. And I missed all of that, and I was out for almost 3 months.
Oof, that's rough.
Yep. Came back, obviously made my debut and played a couple of games, and then obviously went on loan again and got recalled. Came back, new coach again, Those yeah, former coaching staff got fired. So yeah, came back to a new coaching staff.
Uh-huh.
So I had to adjust until the end of the season, and yeah,
So it's been up. It's just been kind of one thing after another for you. Injury,
yeah,
coaching changes, loan. You get
definitely.
loaned to Loudon, right?
Yep,
And
yep,
were
yep.
you healthy for that season, or were you kind of up and down for that season also?
Yeah, till the end of the season, but I obviously didn't do that because I got recalled by DC.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, when the season was over, I had big goals coming back into the next year.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I did everything I can, in the off seasons, put in the work and time to, come back fit and ready for the preseason. Obviously new coaching staff again, so that changed the whole structure of things again. So
Yeah.
yeah, um, but yeah, so so that was
So it's a lot. It's not been a nice, easy, clear path for you
yeah,
to this
yeah,
point. But you're
yeah,
still young, right? You still got one hopes. You still got plenty of time.
yeah.
To sort it out. And then you come, then at what point did you, or what was the process by which you came to Madison? Was that like,
Um,
I was on the loan, obviously, but like, were you
yeah.
involved in the conversation at all, or did you just were you just like, here's your ticket, you're going to Madison today?
So yeah, it was funny enough that I didn't really know much about Madison or the Midwest
Shocking.
itself. Yeah, definitely, obviously, yeah. And that's an injury related thing again.
Sure.
Um, During the off season, I picked up a seizure, so that threw me back again.
A seizure?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
man.
So that threw me back again for another 4 months out. So eventually, when I was healthy again, the talks of loan came up with DC,
Uh-huh.
and my agent pointed out, the best option for me, and yeah, um, at that point in time, for me, it was just to get fit and
Yeah.
obviously go somewhere I can regain myself again.
Yep.
And Madison knocked on the door, and I took
Hmm.
the opportunity.
Yeah. And it's a decent opportunity, right? So you can get some minutes, you can,
Yeah.
and you got a whole another new coaching staff to work with, but but other than
Yeah,
that,
definitely. Yeah.
you get some time, and get some, and try to like get back to your full self, right?
Yeah.
And you have put a couple goals in for us. I want to ask you about your two most recent goals. First of all, going back 2 games against Omaha,
Yeah.
you had 3-1. All of a sudden, it's tied 3-3.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, you had a chance late in the game and missed.
Yeah.
And then and so then on the side, Jackson takes a shot. It comes up back to you, and I have never seen a striker more focused. Like you had like that. Your left foot is planted. You get your head over the ball. You're like, I am not missing this one. Is that like in your head? Like this is it. I'm making up for the last one.
Oh yeah. I mean, as as athletes, I think we all know that you can't dwell. You know,
Uh-huh.
and after missing a chance, it's just like get back into it and go for the next one. And that was kind of like my mentality over that. And obviously, like you say, you couldn't have put in any
Yeah.
other way.
Yeah.
And yeah, when the other opportunity came up, I seized it, and I had to do it. Yeah,
You had to do it.
yeah.
Um, and then you get another one in this most recent match against Naples. And talk us to this one, because the ball's coming. Getting just put this long ball over the top. You just run under it. What's going through your mind as that ball's coming flying over your head?
I think just be more hungrier and fight for the ball. And I think the bounce was a bit of a help. And as it bounced, the defender looked back, and as he did, I kind of went in for the challenge, and he scrambled a little bit, and I got in front of him, and yeah.
I mean, and you had him like draped over your shoulders.
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you even think about getting your left foot around that ball while he's dragging you to the ground?
I think it was just again concentration. I think for the most part, when you're in front of goal, you tend to want to take the shot, beat the keeper, beat defenders, and kind of obviously score. But obviously the focus has to be there as well, and that's kind of just try to get a shot on target. It's always the thing: accuracy before power, and yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, before power, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I did when we were talking about it earlier, and with Ethan, I even said that the shot wasn't overly powerful, but it was finessed. It was placed exactly where it needed to be placed, and to do that with a guy dragging you to the ground with your left foot, that's pretty impressive. Is your left foot your favorite foot or not?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about about being here in Madison. You joined this group of guys who they were all new at the beginning of the season, so none of them really had played together before. And you jump in like partway through the season. How's it been getting kind of integrated with the group with the guys?
Like I said before, I think they're welcoming well. It's a great bunch of guys. I can't really complain. The team bond is as strong as it's ever been for me, at least. And yeah, the guys love each other, and the locker room is great.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and I love it. Yeah.
And are you the youngest, other than maybe like the academy guy?
I mean, if you take out the academy guys, yeah, I'm the youngest.
Does anything come along with that? Do they make you go get water and stuff or not?
No, not no.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Have you? What are you doing when you're not playing football? Are you getting out in Madison at all?
Yeah. Going into town, trying new places, going by the lake, hanging out with the guys for the most part. Yeah.
Cool. On game day, when it's especially like at a day like this past weekend when you're in the starting 11. What's on your playlist, or what are your habits to prepare for a game day?
Yeah. So for starters, obviously, when I hop in the shower, before getting ready, I listen to Ivorian music. That's that's the routine. And after I hop out of the shower, going into the game, it's more Afrobeat and French music.
All right.
Before getting into the stadium, and once I'm in this locker room, I just let the speaker in the locker room just
whoever's got it.
Exactly. Yeah. Whoever's got it, it's got it. Yeah. Just kind of go from that. Yeah.
And what are your where do you see yourself? I mean, are you feeling healthy right now? First of all, I mean, you seem to be doing all right. But how do you go about staying that way? And then what are your hopes and dreams for your next 2, 3, 5, 10 years?
Of course, obviously prioritizing your body as an athlete is, an essential. Just doing that. Just keep it going with my routine. I think for us athletes, I'd say motivation is unreliable. If it's one thing I've learned, and I think your habits will keep you going further in life. And for me, I think in the next couple of years, hopefully break into the DC team, first team. I mean, first of all, I just want to win the championship here. Before that, of course, Madison.
We'd like that. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. And then carry on with DC, break into the team. Hopefully, go beyond. The goal is to play in Europe some days. Get the national team call up, and just dreaming big, and keep dreaming.
Have you been connected with the Ivory Coast national team
somewhat
program,
but
at all?
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've been kind of over here for the bulk of the this sort of breakout time of your career. So here's hoping somebody notices that you're doing good things here in Madison. Motivation is unreliable. That's a remarkable insight that I've never heard before. But it's your habits. Like even if you don't feel like doing it today, you got to do it today because it's your habit.
Right.
And the motivation then will return eventually. That's really smart. All right. Hakim Karamoko, thank you again for the time. Thank you again for all the running around we had to do today. But best of luck, and we'll see you Wednesday.
No worries. Thank you, Raul. Thanks for having me. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, let's go around the league now. On Wednesday in Portland, Maine, Omaha comes to town and get a 2-1 win. All the action in this one happens in the first half. First, from Portland, Omaha was trying to build out of the back, and Michael Punanjaran from Portland on the press pokes the ball away from Lawrence Wooten right to Abubakar Kamara. He one-times it to Diego Gonzalez, all alone in the center of the box. He scores nice and easy. Portland's lead would last just 7 minutes, though. This time it's Portland trying to escape from their own end, and Omaha pressing. Lawrence Wooten returns the favor, forcing a turnover and getting a ball into the box for Diego Gutierrez for an easy tap-in. Then Gabriel Cabral got the winner in the 33rd. It was Cabral himself who won the ball on the press in the middle of the pitch, got it forward to Marlon Vargas, who pops it right back to Cabral on a very nice give and go, getting in behind and slotting it in. And that's how we'd end 2-1 to the Owls. Westchester gets a 3-0 win over the Cosmos in the New York Derby. Can you call it that if the Cosmos are in New Jersey? I don't know. Bobby Pierre opens the scoring for Westchester in the 7th. Daniel Bowman carrying to the end line, giving a clever little back heel to Kyle Evans, who drives a low ball across the face of goal. Cosmos goalie Tristan Stefani tried to cut it off the cross but didn't get it, and Bobby Pierre taps it in at the far post. It would remain 1-0 until the 76th minute when Jonathan Jimenez makes a lovely turn just outside the box, slots it through to Kyle Evans. He makes a pretty nice turn himself and rolls it in. Then the exclamation point comes in the 83rd, and Max Jennings has a brilliant run carrying all the way to the end line in the right-hand channel, sheds a defender, cuts it back to Connor McGlynn for the one-time finish. In Spokane, it's Velocity 3, Charlotte 0. Charlotte was on the front foot for much of the first half, but couldn't break through. So it was a 0-0 until early in the second half. Spokane were awarded a pretty soft penalty, if I'm honest. A cross comes in. Luis Gil goes up to head it, and he falls backwards into Fabrice Nga, and Fabrice Nga is called for the foul somehow, and a penalty is awarded. And it was Luis Gil himself who converted it to make it 1-0. In the 72nd, Spokane got numbers forward into the box, and Simon Fitch found Joe Gallardo completely unmarked about 8 yards away from the goal, and he is not going to miss from there. The third goal was pretty similar. This time it's Jack Denton up the right channel to the end line, cutting it back to Neil Vignoles right on top of the 6-yard box. This time he did have defenders to deal with, but that didn't bother him a bit. He hammered it in nonetheless to complete the win. And then on Saturday, while Madison was also playing, Chattanooga gets a 1-0 win in the Texas Derby, Chattanooga versus Knoxville. They also call that the Smoky Mountain Smackdown. I don't like that. It was a pretty scrappy affair. Knoxville really on the foot most of the way, unleashing 20 shots, 5 of them on target. Meanwhile, Chattanooga only took 6 shots and put only 2 on frame, but one of them got through, and that's all they would need. That one didn't come until the 74th minute on a corner. Omar Hernandez sends in the in-swinger, and Joshua Ramos is there at the far post to head it in. Knoxville manager Ian Fuller got a red card after the final whistle. I'm sure he just very respectfully expressed an opinion to the referees. Charlotte gets a 3-1 win over Richmond. The Jacks bounce back from their Wednesday loss with a pretty decisive win over the hapless Richmond Kickers. Richmond very nearly took the lead in the first half, and that would have changed this game quite a bit, honestly. Joshua Kirkland getting in behind, and Charlotte keeper Matt Levy made an incredible save of the week type stuff to keep it level at 0. Charlotte would finally break through in the 40th. Richmond keeper Jan Filion trying to start the attack with a long ball, but he slipped and fell as he struck it, and the kick went straight to Charlotte midfielder John Baccaro. He took a touch and then slipped it across to Prince Sadie, completely unmarked, who scores from about 12 yards away. Then the gut punch comes right in first half stoppage time as Prince Sadie puts in a cross. Filion gets to it, but does not gather it, and Fabrice Nga is there to clean it up. Swebu Maru for Charlotte put one off the post early in the second half, and then he would get the third for Charlotte just before the hour mark, nodding in a corner kick from Javen Romero. Richmond did get a goal, their first in a very long time. Zahir Vasquez putting a blistering shot off the post, and Sean Vinberg cleaning up the rebound. But that was never going to be enough for Richmond to get any points out of this match. Also on Saturday, the Cosmos fall to Boise 2-1 in Paterson, New Jersey. It's a quiet first half, but Boise would break through about 7 minutes into the second as Thomas Among took a long ball in the box and Sergio Chavez bundled him over, and a penalty was given to Boise. Blake Bodley converted that to make it 1-0. Our old friend Jacob Kroll would double that lead right on the hour mark. Blake Bodley sent a free kick into the box. Thomas Among headed it up, and Jake Kroll was there to head it down and in. Cosmos would get a consolation goal 5 minutes into stoppage time. Very nice give and go. Sebastian Guinzati to Ajmer Spengler and back to Guinzati and in. That ended a pretty long goalless drought for Cosmos as well, and was not enough to do anything in this match, but I guess it's nice to have. Corpus Christi stays hot, getting a 1-0 win at Greenville, against Greenville, rather, in Corpus Christi. Arthur Medina getting the only goal the Sharks would need in the 10th minute. Jackson Dietrich sent a long shot on target from about 30 yards away. Looked like the keeper of all night was going to get it. Arthur Medina just redirected it in and away from the Greenville keeper, and that goal is all they would need. They just need to lock it down for 80 minutes, and that's exactly what they did. Spokane also continues their winning ways, a 3-1 win over Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne drew first blood in this one as Jack Thomas cuts through a couple defenders, unleashes a shot from the top of the box. Sean Lewis, the Spokane goalkeeper, did make the save, but Thomas himself followed up his own shot and hammered in the rebound. That lead would stand up until the 66th minute. Nil Vinyals played Siobhan John Brown in behind. John Brown was able to get through a really good tackle attempt, and then he nutmegged Bernd Shipman, our old friend who is now the Fort Wayne goalkeeper. And that was the equalizer. And in the last 10 minutes, the wheels really came off for Fort Wayne. They gave up 2 goals in 3 minutes. In the 81st, again, it was Siobhan John Brown, and again, he nutmegs Bernd Shipman to score to take the lead. That's pretty nice for him, but brutal for Shipman. Then Siobhan John Brown got the assist on the last goal, the goal that really sealed it for Spokane. Fort Wayne playing out of the back, give it away, and Siobhan John Brown picks it up, slots it across to Louise Hill to get the third and to slam the door. In USL League One After Dark, it's Alta and Westchester played to a 0-0 draw. Give Antelope Valley keeper Denzel Smith a lot of credit for this one, for getting a point for the home side. Couple of really nice saves to keep this one level. Unfortunately, they couldn't score on the other end, so the points end up being shared. Looking ahead to this week on Wednesday night, Athletic Club Boise goes to Greenville, and then of course we host Chattanooga on Wednesday, and then on Saturday Charlotte hosts Knoxville. That'll be a good one, top of the table battle. Chattanooga hosts Spokane. Portland Hearts of Pine go to Greenville. AV also go all the way from California to Virginia to take on the Richmond Kickers. Fort Wayne FC hosting Union Omaha in a nice Midwestern regional rivalry. In the Florida Derby, it's Sarasota Paradise hosting FC Naples. We host Westchester, of course, and then in League One After Dark, not really that much after dark, 8:30 on Saturday night, it's AC Boise hosting Corpus Christi. And finally, in stoppage time, I want to put kind of a ribbon on the Rally Madison season by just getting you up to date on the W League playoffs. Our in-division rival, Minnesota Aurora, did make it to the semifinals. In the quarterfinals, they beat Pittsburgh Riveters 2-1 on a stoppage time goal from Gracie Dunaway. Then they had to fly from Pittsburgh to Seattle to play Salmon Bay, which was the cause of some consternation and controversy. Minnesota were the best team in the country all season. They were undefeated and only conceded 1 goal all year. They actually submitted a bid to host the semifinals and finals, feeling that they had earned that, but the league put it in Seattle instead, which meant not only did Minnesota have to go from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast and play a semifinal at what to them felt like 9:30 p.m., but it was a home game for Salmon Bay, which just kind of seemed unfair. And it went Salmon Bay's way. That game finished 1-1 with no goals in open play. Both teams got 1 penalty each, so they just sought penalties during the game, and then Salmon Bay went on to win the penalty shootout. That was the national semifinal. Salmon Bay then went on to defeat Vermont Green, again in a shootout, to capture the W League title. While we're talking pre-pro, let's talk about the men's side in USL League 2. The final there is set for this Saturday, contains some consolation for Forward Madison fans. In the first semifinal, perennial power and defending champion Vermont Green beat Laredo Heat 7-1. That game was 2-1 at halftime. They scored 5 in the second half in a national semifinal. That's insane. The other semifinal was Flint City Bucks. You recognize that name, getting a 1-0 win over Ventura County Fusion. You recognize that name because it was Flint City Bucks that knocked Forward Madison out of the U.S. Open Cup this season. And back then, when we were previewing that match, I said this was an amateur team, but it's a pretty good amateur team. I was underselling it. They're one of the best amateur teams in the United States. Turns out they're one of the top 2. That final will take place Saturday at 7:30. It will be during our Madison versus Westchester match, so they'll be forgiven if you don't watch the USL League 2 match. But it'll be in Flint at 7:30 Saturday night. And if Vermont wins, they'll become the first back-to-back League 2 champions in 23 years. All right, folks, that's what we have for you today. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember, we got Wednesday, Chattanooga. We got Westchester on Saturday. We'll hit both of those games next week, and we'll do one sort of larger episode, maybe with breaking down both of those games, depending how they go. And we'll be back then. And until then, have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. Up the goes. The 608 Soccer Show is part of the 365 Media Network, hosted by Rob Chappell and Ethan Maurice. Produced by Rob Chappell, with a theme song by Rob Dees. Follow the show on Instagram and Blue Sky at 608 Soccer. And remember to subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast app.